Well, hopefully you've been following the drama that's held or kept Nigerians captivated in the last couple of weeks. The drama continues and the plot thickens as we wait to see what each new day brings forth. Of course, I'm talking about Faroukgate versus Femi Otedola, and anyone has an opinion on who's guilty and who's innocent. Never mind that the information we have makes one wonder about what we don't really know. Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetumobi. And my host today brings an interesting twist to the story of Faroukgate and Femi Otedola. He says that Nigerians don't want to see the guilt of one party only because of the identity of the whistleblower. In other words, the fact that one party has all the evidence to back up his sting makes Nigerians suspicious that he was only able to get the cooperation of the security agencies because of the company he keeps. Listen to him. Quote, "I am aware that many Nigerians are not happy with the way Femi Otedola hobnobs with all governments in power and perhaps gets undeserved business concessions by so doing. But in this instant case, whether you like Femi Otedola or hate him, by reporting to the SSS and having gone ahead to record the transaction between him and Lawan, Femi did all that a responsible citizen under the circumstances should do." End of quote. So, is that really the issue here? Would it have made any difference to you if Faroukgate was perhaps outed by someone else other than Femi Otedola? What about issues involving the House of Representatives? Is the House, for instance, placing its Committee on Ethics and Privileges above or on the same level as that of the police? And is the House Committee now an alternative to the police? Is it the law that a member of the House should only be investigated by its Committee on Ethics and Privileges first before the police step in? Must the committee perhaps continue investigating a matter that ordinarily lies within the purview of the police? Can a House committee member call a person summoned to face a panel stupid? Well, if like me, you're looking for answers to all those questions, join me after the break. I'm spending 60 minutes with Festus Keyamo, barrister and solicitor. Welcome back and welcome to you, Festus Keyamo. Thank you very much for coming on 60 Minutes with me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, you've obviously been following the Faroukgate and Femi Otedola story. Let's just clarify now. Are you representing any one of them at this time?
No, I'm not. I'm not a counsel to anybody.
Okay, and did either of them lobby you to speak on their behalf, perhaps?
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay,
you know.
Okay. I said,
you know my style before,
yes.
you know.
I mean, just to clarify, because
Yes.
people will think you're defending one person or the other. Perhaps you've been recruited.
No. Of course, it's an insult for any Nigerian to think at this level,
Yes.
and at this stage of my life and crusade,
Yeah.
that anybody can recruit me.
Okay.
It would be an insult for anybody to think so.
Okay, so let's work from back to front. The most recent incident in this whole matter was the summoning of Femi Otedola to the House of Reps. Of course, he complied, and the House's reaction to that attendance. First, let me tell you what they said, that Femi Otedola was invited only as a witness in the bribery controversy since he made the allegation against Farouk, end of quote there. So what should be the place of the relationships here? What is the business? I'm just thinking off the top of my head. What's the business of the House? Purely what appears to be a criminal matter.
Well, I think that the House of Representatives, the members as it is, have totally misread the extent of their powers.
Okay.
under the Constitution. Yes, they have powers to investigate certain matters, and in so doing, they don't even have powers to indict people, as it were.
Okay.
They only have powers to expose corruption.
Okay.
And so at the end of the day, when the House investigates a matter, they just come out with a report and tell the public that this person, these are the issues we found out, these are the things we uncovered, and that should be the end of the matter.
Yeah.
They don't even have powers to make those recommendations they do at the end of the day. They normally do when they say they recommend to the president and they recommend to the Inspector General of Police to do so and so as a result of their report.
Yes.
And they have been misleading the public for a long time by so doing. Of course, those reports are very potent, you know. Nobody should downplay those reports because the public deserve to know through their representatives what happens in critical sectors of the country.
Yes.
But then, at the end of the day, they don't have powers. Unfortunately, they don't have powers to compel the law enforcement agencies or the executive to do their bidding. Okay. They don't have powers to so do.
Okay, so having explained that, I'm trying to see now, I'm trying to establish a relationship. If we say that the House has a relationship with Farouk because he's a member of the House and therefore can summon him, do they have powers to summon a person such as Femi Otedola?
Yes, they have powers to summon anybody.
Okay.
They do. But they don't have powers to investigate anybody. So those are the two different things.
Two different things.
Yes, the person who is the subject of investigation must be a member of either the House or the executive.
Okay.
Executive by executive I mean any parastatal of government. You know, so they have powers to investigate that. But in the process of investigating that person, they can invite any other person, being a private person or a public person, to come and explain. So in other words, at the end of the day, they don't have powers to indict private persons. They don't have powers over private persons.
Yes.
They can only indict or bring a report, over the person that they are investigating. In this case, they have a right to reach a conclusion over Farouk Lawan, assuming they have powers to investigate the issues concerning Farouk Lawan. I'm going to come to that.
Yes.
They can't, but they cannot have any power to reach a conclusion over Femi Otedola about his guilt or otherwise.
Okay, not being a member of their house.
Of their house, they don't have. Now, let me quickly bring this to bring this home.
Yes.
In my case, I have been the subject of such controversy. In fact, I, generated a lot of debate over this issue when they invited me over the bank college issue.
Yes.
This whole thing Femi is going through, I have gone through.
Yes.
Remember, they wanted to hold the hearing in private.
Yes, you also
insisted it has to be in public.
Yes.
Because I accused bank calling in public of the CAS scam, the 607 or 407 CAS scam, if you remember.
Yes, I remember.
And then they said, and then when they did not respond, I quickly petitioned the law enforcement agencies at that time, the ICPC, the EFCC. Now, before they started their investigation, EFCC, they quickly set up a kangaroo panel of their own and said they want to investigate their own.
Yes.
And then invited me, just in order to undo the report of the law enforcement agencies, and invited me to appear before a committee, to shed light on my allegations.
And let me just stop you there, Festus, because that's the point I'm coming to. Are we in danger now of equating a House panel or House committee that investigates anything on the same level as that of the police? If the anti-corruption or security agencies are already on the matter, why do we have a parallel body also looking at the same matter?
That is the point we need to make before the leadership of the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Because the Constitution only says that they have powers to investigate issues over which they have powers to make laws ordinarily.
Yes.
So in other words, the thing they are investigating must be for the purpose of even advancing their knowledge of the law, their lawmaking, function in that particular field. In other words, it must fall within the exclusive legislative list or the concurrent list in the case of the National Assembly. And in the case of the state, it has to fall within the residual list or the concurrent list.
Yes.
So in this case, they don't have powers to investigate crime. Absolutely not.
Okay.
When a crime has been committed, they have no powers to investigate crime.
Okay, so
what they are doing is actually undermining the powers of the law enforcement agencies. One more important point over this issue is that even on the principle of a person not being a judge over his own cause.
Yes.
They are suspects in this matter.
How are they suspects?
Because the allegation is that Farouk collected this money on behalf of some members of the house.
Yes, but we don't.
Whether right or wrong,
yes,
but they are now suspects. Once you are somebody says, I collected on your behalf,
yes,
in law, you are a suspect
all
already.
of you are now joined in.
Automatically. Yes, you may be guiltless, it may be some alarm or some kind of false allegation,
yes,
but whether it is
flying
false or true,
yes,
whether it is false or true, your name has been linked. You are a suspect already.
Okay.
And some members of the scam, the what's it, subsidy committee,
yes,
are also members of the ethics committee.
Aha. Not many people know that.
Yes. They are also members of the ethics committee, now sitting over their own cause. Because Farouk Lawan allegedly collected that money on behalf of his to settle the committee.
Okay, now, but we're taking on this point you made that Farouk collected on behalf.
Allegedly on behalf of. He collected. There's no allegation about his collection.
About the collection.
But for behalf of. Allegedly on behalf
we're
of.
We're only taking his word for it because he says,
yes,
I collected on behalf.
Yes.
And we don't know for sure that he did.
No, he collected.
Yes.
That's
on behalf of anyone.
That is the allegation.
Okay.
Automatically, those people become suspects.
Okay. Until it's established that
they
didn't collect
yes,
it from
yes.
Farouk.
At that point, those people, they don't have any right to investigate their own matter.
Okay. So let's go back now. At what point does this kind of matter that has become criminal in nature leave the purview of the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges and fall right into the box of the police?
Because it is a crime already.
Okay.
A crime has been committed.
No
absolutely not.
Okay.
No
okay.
business doing what they are doing at all.
Okay, so
have no
in your opinion, they've superseded their own powers by trying to
they have overshot the runway.
Overshot the runway.
Yes.
Okay, now, they say that this is a deliberate distraction calculated to take attention away from the rot in the oil sector.
We have no problem with the investigation of the oil sector.
Yes.
There's no reasonable Nigerian that will say halt that process.
Yes.
No, there is no reasonable Nigerian.
Yes.
But then also no reasonable Nigerian will say forget the bribery issue. They are as potent as the other. In fact, let me say this.
Yes.
The figures regarding the bribery issue, they are lower figures. 620. We're talking of $620,000,
yes,
and we're talking of millions and billions of dollars on this other end.
Yes.
But then, in order to unravel what happened in the oil sector, you don't even need any corruption,
yes,
in the process of investigating that. So, if public, for example, I'll give you the example: a policeman who takes 20 naira bribe to release a murder suspect,
yes,
has committed a crime not as grave as murder in collecting 20 naira. But the effect of collecting that 20 naira is bigger than committing murder. Why? Because by releasing that murder suspect, you now put other people's lives in danger by collecting 20 naira. That is what people must understand, that the powers of a public officer and the responsibilities of a public officer should come more under scrutiny. Because he is in a position to prevent the bigger rots taking place. Okay. By taking $620,000, he has let off the hook people who should be in prison for stealing billions. Yeah. And those people are now let back into the society to continue to steal billions.
Billions. Okay.
That is how grave that offense
is. Okay, we'll take our first break now. When we come back, we'll look further at the House. We'll stay with the House on media and public affairs. So join us again after the break. Back. If you've just joined us, you're watching 60 Minutes with me, Angela Jetumobi. Now, Festus, the House Committee says that we cannot say because some men have means, they can now dictate the way an institution should conduct its affairs. The Ethics Committee did not go outside the law and didn't do anything unusual. End of quote. So, was Mr. Otedola within his rights to ask for that sitting to be held in public?
Absolutely. You cannot strip me naked in public.
Yes.
In a marketplace. I am now naked.
Yes.
And you now say, please come into one of the rooms to take your cloth back. No, you have to give me my cloth back so that people will know that in the first place, in stripping me naked, you were wrong.
Okay.
So there was no basis at all. What I'm saying is that by that example is that there is no basis for now making it a closed affair. There is no basis because everything is on the streets.
No, but do
you understand me? Everything is on the streets.
There's still gist that what we know is so small to what we don't know.
So do we have a right to know?
We do, and that's
Let me change sides with you.
Yes.
Do we have a right to know? We do have a right to know.
We do have a right to know.
So that is the problem.
Maybe
okay?
they were afraid that Femi would drop something.
So where does the morality lie here? It lies on this other side, not on the side of the house.
Yes.
You see, because I also insisted in my own time that make it public. And in that case, in my own time, I forced them to make it public.
And they did.
And they started abusing me, if you remember.
Yes.
They called me Barawo. They called me all kinds of names in the full glare of cameras.
Now, that's another point.
So the point I'm making.
Calling of you Barawo, calling of Mr. Otedola stupid.
Stupid.
Is that actionable?
It's not actionable because there's immunity for things said on the floor of the house. There's immunity. They have immunity. But that does not make it right.
Okay.
That makes them extremely biased.
Yes.
How can an adjudicator be calling a witness who you have someone to help you with investigation? How can you be calling him stupid? Now they have confirmed that Otedola was not the subject of investigation, that he was only a witness.
Yes.
But even under the Constitution,
yes,
a person who is an accused person,
yes,
I'm telling you of even the gravest situation where somebody is accused of an offense, what happens? The Constitution says you have a right to remain silent.
Yes.
And that if you want to read your rights to you when you are arrested, they say, sorry, you have a right to remain silent. But anything you write or say will be used in a court of law against you.
Okay, so even at that point, in front of the committee, he still had the right to
remain silent
if he so wished.
So wishes.
Whether or not it was held in public
or private. At the end of your report, you can only say that, well, this man refused to substantiate his allegation, and as such, it is at his risk. Your allegations cannot be investigated because you did not supply the weapons to investigate the allegations. At that point, they can now write off the allegations and say the allegations are spurious. But you have no right to abuse him.
Okay, so if the House didn't do anything unusual, do we have any idea what criteria it uses, for instance, to determine which ones will be held, which sittings will be held in public and which will be held in private?
Absolutely. Because in security matters, you must hold them in private.
Okay.
If, for example, you summon the security chiefs about Boko Haram,
yes,
and you want to know how far they have gone, of course, it will be stupid to hold it in public. Why? Because there are security matters. You don't want to alert the Boko Haram members as to how far you are closing in on them.
Okay.
Because this is for the betterment of the entire citizenry. In fact, in that case, it is not to our, it's not to our disadvantage, it's to our collective advantage. Because they want to catch people who have put our lives in danger. Okay. So in security matters, yes, why not? Okay. In cases of rape, for example, where, a little child is raped,
yes,
the courts even at times, not even a committee, they would, have a closed-door trial. Because you don't want to destroy the life of that child.
Yes, by putting that picture out.
A picture out and all that, and the child grows up with a stigma.
Yes.
So these are things that are held in private. They are now misreading their powers.
Okay. So, the committee says they're not out to persecute Femi Otedola.
By calling him stupid? I mean, Femi is no saint. Everybody has been angry with Femi over the way he obnobs with those in power.
I said that.
The way he gets business concessions and all of that.
That's another point.
For Christ's sake, separate these issues.
What is wrong with him getting concessions? Did he give them to himself?
Nigerians are so impoverished, I'm sorry to say it, by the economy, by brutality of government, that unfortunately, the psychology of the public is to hate anybody making money. And I'm sure you know that.
Yes.
Is to just hate anybody making money, rightly or wrongly. And I'm not saying in this case that Femi is right or wrong. I'm not saying so. But that's the natural psychology today.
Yes.
I mean,
do you think
Angela.
Yes.
If, for example, all of a sudden you come, into very big money all of a sudden, you attract more enemies than friends. I'm telling you, even those who pretend to be your friends will be your enemies. They'll say, how did Angela make that kind of money?
Okay. So are you saying that if this sting operation was carried out by anyone else but Femi Otedola, people would be more accepting of Farouk Lawan's alleged guilt?
That is the confusion of most members of the public. I've read so many comments on the internet.
Yes.
Nobody is saying Farouk Lawan is guiltless. Everybody has accepted that he's guilty. But the anger of the public is that, how damn you, how could it be a member of the ruling class that catches somebody who pretended to be a hero of the people? How could it be? It's a reversal of roles.
Yes.
It's a reversal of roles. Lawan should be the one catching the thief.
Yes.
Not the other way around. Do you understand me?
That's the irony.
That is the irony. That's the anger of the public. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm a lawyer. Yes. I take every case on its own merits. If somebody you want to extort money from me, the person says, well, I can't give you money. I'm sorry, because I am not involved in this thing.
Then why go ahead with planning a sting?
Because
if your name is not there, you have to.
No, because he said no, the name is not there. He wanted to put his name.
Yes,
get the facts correctly.
Yes, but if Femi is saying that I have documents to show that I didn't collect this subsidy money I'm not involved. I do diesel, and diesel
it's not part of
this
subsidy.
Why did he go ahead with negotiations if he knew?
No, you don't understand. It was not a game of blackmail.
Okay, whether or not you did.
Whether you did or not, we have put your name. We have put your name. Others have settled. Others have settled. Come and settle, or your name will appear. And the name did appear. You know the name appeared.
Yes, but I'm just thinking. So, if the ordinary man who didn't do anything and they put your name in something where you didn't, you are not involved, what hope then for an ordinary, you read this kind of stories and you just imagine that they're not true. Why would they put his name there if he didn't do anything?
All probes have been schemes of fraud. All probes of the National Assembly. Look, you see, they have been perfecting this act right from the time of Nahaba. Right from the first time of the first speaker in 1999, they have been perfecting this act of fleecing people. You don't imagine. I want to ask you a simple question.
Yes.
I don't think, are we dumb enough not to know that they fight over chairmanship of committees because of such things? Is there a special, I want to ask you, is there a special allowance for chairmanship of committees? No. Is there a special privilege for chairmanship of committees? No. Okay. You still have the same office you run. Yes. You still receive the same normal allowance like everybody. Why is there fight to be chairmanship of what they call juicy committees? Okay. So were we dumb all along to not to know that they were doing this type of thing?
No, but I'm just thinking that, are you saying that every probe is not because we're fact-finding, it's just for some people to make money?
You see, have you seen the body language of members of the National Assembly now?
Yes.
Even David Mark, yesterday when he spoke on, to some business community, they showed it on television. The body language is that they are angry. How did you catch us? There's no indignation.
Yes.
Have you seen that they have not expressed any indignation against Farouk Lawan?
About doing that?
Yes. There's no sense of indignation, anger. Why would a member come and bring shame to this house? The body language is that, how dare you catch one of us? How dare you? That is the body language. One of them stood up the other time and said, the only thing the executive knows how to do is to be carrying out sting operation. That is what, instead of them to be, that is what one of them said. The other man, the other day said, the house spokesman, yes. He said, this is just a diversion. It's a diversion. David Mark yesterday said, the person who comes to influence us, those businessmen who come to influence us too, they should be looking at it. So this is the body language. I cited these 3 examples to show you the body language is that of anger, not against their own. But anger at a businessman who was so daring.
Yes.
As to touch one of their own.
Does he have the right to air those tapes? Because Absolutely. It looks like they're looking at that angle, that how dare a TV station, Edo State.
But for Christ's sake, the public have been dying for such things. We know these things were happening.
Yes.
But there was no proof. So the public, members of the public have been dying to see some kind of proof that those elected representatives were actually armed robber. You remember the one said, I'm not an armed robber? Yes. On the floor of the house, they said, I'm not an armed robber. They have been eager. People have been, hungry to see some kind of proof that these people were not representing them. So there's no better time if we want to fight corruption. And if we want to fight, there's nothing that fights corruption more than exposure. Yes. If you fight corruption in the dark, you are wasting your time.
And you say Faroukgate should resign immediately.
Absolutely. Look, let me say you this. Listen, look at the facts of the case. And by the facts of the case, I'm not talking about the controversial facts of the case. Okay. I'm talking about the agreed facts of the case. Yes. There was communication between the two of them. Why were you communicating with Otedola? Question. That's a question that they should answer without first fact. You are investigating somebody. The day he calls you, please don't call my line again, sir. This is not fair. You may not have. You don't have to be rude. Yes. You don't have to be rude.
Don't make my job difficult.
Don't make my job difficult for me, sir. Please stop calling my line. Yes. And at that point, you even stop picking your calls because you have aides. You give your phones to them. When they say Femi is on the line, please, I don't want to talk to him. Yes. Do you understand me? Yes. So there was communication between, and not just communication, but what about constant communication. What about the Can I flow on these facts?
Okay, go on.
Let me flow on this fact. Okay. There was communication. After the communication, there was collection of money.
Yes, but on communication,
there was no agreement.
His lawyer is disagreeing that was his voice.
No, you don't understand me. Faroukgate said he has call logs to show that there were constant calls between them. He said they have call logs that he's ready to tender these call logs. Yes. He said so. So there's no argument about the communication. Then they collected money. There's no doubt about that. 620,000 is agreed by all parties. Yes. Okay, out of a total sum of $3 million. Correct? Yes. That's undisputable. Moving on from there, he collected this money about 4 a.m. in the morning. Yes. Why will you go to a suspect's house, somebody you are investigating, by 4 a.m. in the morning? And a day to presentation of that report. A few hours after collecting the money, you stood up in front of the national and international media to fulfill the bargain upon which you collected that money. They said the money is for you to remove my name from the list. And a few hours later, he stands up in front of the camera, adjusts his agbada, and says that he has just discovered a new truth about his report. A report he deliberated on for more than 2 months. Remember they were delaying the report? Yes. When the public were asked, why? Where is your report now? Where is your report? Not knowing that they were holding it back for everybody to settle. Okay? And then he stands up in front of the media and says, I have just found out that there's a mistake in including one name. Remove the name, Angela. And we, as Nigerians, we are still idiots to sit down and listen to any explanation from that kind of person again. After fulfilling the bargain upon which he withdrew the money. Okay. And after that, what happens? He did not see anything. That was the point. He should have spilled the money on the floor of the house. This is what, somebody gave me. He said he collected the money as a sting on Otedola. Yes. Otedola said it was a sting on them. So it was a cross sting. Fine, good. Now, how did you hope to catch Otedola? Because Otedola's name was not written on the dollars.
The money. But he has evidence.
Yes, because the only way to prove that this money came from Otedola is to show some kind of evidence that I collected money from him. So we want to assume that it was a sting now. Yes. And he threw that money on the floor of the house. Who would have believed him that it came from Otedola? Because in the first place, Otedola's name was not written on the dollars. So how was he going to convince any third party
that he was actually doing a
sting on Otedola? On the other hand, Otedola has audio, visual, everything, and involved the SSS. What people don't know is that the SSS is equal to the police. People don't know that. As a lawyer, you know that. Yes. The SSS can arrest, interrogate, and prosecute. In fact, the SSS is the one prosecuting the senator now, Boko Haram senator. What's his name? They call it Boko Haram senator. Whatever, yes. And they are also the one prosecuting the October 1 bomb. The police was not involved, EFC was not involved. The SSS is the one, I'm involved in that case, the October 1 bombing. It's the SSS baby. They are the one who arrested, investigated, and they are prosecuted. So, they have the same powers.
Femi did everything right.
What a responsible citizen should do. If you are putting pressure on me, I just inform the agencies to say, look, this person wants to commit a crime. Look, so it is much, and then listen, it does not absolve him from investigation over his role in the oil scam.
Okay.
It does not. Look, listen, there are two issues here.
Yes.
I want to point out this.
Yes.
There are two issues. The issue of the bribery, the issue of the scam,
Yes.
the oil scam. The law enforcement agencies can go ahead to probe him over the oil scam.
Okay, that's Otedola.
Otedola.
Okay, so let's
this has nothing to do with the bribery thing.
Okay, let's take our break now because they're giving me signals. So
Yeah.
when we come back,
Yes.
we'll take it from that point that even though it looks like his sting has been successful,
Yes.
you know,
It does not absolve him
from
Probe.
further probe.
Probe, yes.
All right, so join us again after the break. Welcome back. Now, you were saying before we went on break that in spite of all this, it doesn't preclude the security agencies from probing Femi Otedola.
Absolutely
further.
not.
Okay.
If there's any crime he has committed regarding the oil sector, they should go ahead and investigate and prosecute him.
Okay.
But you see, we must put our searchlight on our public officers. That's my concern.
Right.
Because you see, this argument is like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
What comes first? It is the public officer that comes first. Because no matter how much you deal with people in the oil sector, if you do not, clean the audience table in public office, there is nobody who will catch them anyway.
Yeah.
It's only public. You and I, you don't have powers to catch them.
Yes.
We don't have the powers to summon.
Yes.
We don't have powers to arrest. We don't have powers to prosecute.
Yeah.
So we must tell the public officers that the duties that are on their shoulders are as grave as life and death itself. That is why we must deal with any public officer that we find his hand in the till. In fact, the whole of this picture, these accepted facts I talked about,
Yes.
that we are not in this, it gives a clear conclusion. What is the clear conclusion? There was a clear attempt, or not even attempt, there was
It was successful.
it was successful
It was.
to an extent.
Yes.
To an extent. That Farouk Lawan used his position as a public officer to obtain bribe in order to corrupt his reports. In the process, just like an armed robbery incident, something went terribly wrong. This is what happened. Now, when something has gone terribly wrong, an armed robber will know that the game is up.
Yes.
And I remember, you see, at times, listen, and I want to say this very clearly. It appears comic but true. Once you go for a robbery incident, and so then the police now surrounds the house with guns all over the place. We watch it in films.
Yes.
And they announce, Angela, come out with your hands on the air. It's over. At that point, the armed robber knows it's over.
Yes.
If it's only suicide at that point, to now come out and face
Guns
the guns.
blazing, yeah.
At that point, you know what to do. You raise your hand and say, I'm sorry, the game is up.
Yeah.
This is what Lawan should be doing now. The house is surrounded. The evidence is out. The facts are clear.
Yes.
As clear.
Yes.
At this point, all you need to do is to say, look, as a true Muslim,
Yes.
and I must repeat this, he brought the name of God into the picture.
Yes.
We should also bring the name of God into it for him. As a good Muslim, you raise your hand up and said, Allah, I have sinned.
No, but
and at this point, wait, Angela.
Yes.
At this point, I was human. It's human frailty. Please forgive me. I resign my position.
Yes.
This is it.
Yes.
But his position now
Yes.
is like that of a hardened crook.
No.
A hardened crook
I can't
whose
agree-
hand has been caught in the till.
I can't agree with you. What you're saying is that he should take the fall. If you say that he took that money on behalf of committee members and that they are all sharing that money, why should he take the fall for it? At least everyone else who ate out of that $620
So
should go.
You are even expanding my argument, and I want to thank you for that. In other words, in owning up to Allah,
Yes.
you now say these are the people who also shared the money with me. Because according to Femi Otedola, I said there was a sharing formula starting from the speaker. Don't forget that.
Yes.
Rightly or wrongly, we don't know. It may just be blackmail.
Yes.
But that is the allegation.
That is the story.
That is the story. That there was a sharing formula. And I want to ask you this. Are you not surprised please, we are all adults, so we are not idiots. We went to school.
Yes.
That when he moved the motion to remove Zenon or so from the list, there was no objection on the floor of the house. You saw it.
Everyone saw that.
Good. Are you not, is your curiosity not piqued by that? That nobody said, please, can you explain further? Oh no, please, I don't understand. It looks like everybody understood already. Because somebody should somewhere seek some further explanation. Did you not know this before? Did you call him? Why did his name appear? Some colleagues should prompt him to explain further.
Yes.
The moment he moved the motion, what do you say? I or no I? I have it. You know all that kind of nonsense. Okay?
Yes.
So this is somebody whose hand is caught in the cash box, a thief. And they say, what are you doing there? I was only checking the color of the money to find out whether the money is red or white. This is the kind of scenario we are seeing now. So it is a theater of the absurd.
Yes.
For them, it is not Otedola that is bringing out theatrics. It is, in fact, Lawan and his hired goons, those he has hired to be appearing everywhere and talking for him. They are the ones that are destroying this whole thing. And let me tell you this. Now that his voice has been played on TV, and then they say it's not his voice. Good. Now tell us, what were you discussing with Otedola? Because you said there were several discussions.
Yes.
Not Otedola now, I'm talking of Lawan.
Yes.
Said there were several telephone discussions between them. Were they talking about girlfriends or politics?
No, Festus.
What were they talking about?
Lawan has said he was bamboozled with calls from this man because the man wanted him to remove the name from the
So simple. So in other words, those calls took place. Those conversations took place about bribe or no bribe.
Yes, but not these ones.
So what is his own version? Somebody has now brought a version.
Yes,
where is your version? Where is your version?
If you were doing your own thing.
If you were doing your own thing.
Yes.
So you see, it would have been easy for him. You see, to tell the truth is easier than to tell a lie. It would have been easy for you to say, yes, that's my voice. I was playing along. And that would be consistent with all his position all along, that he was carrying a sting on Otedola.
Yes.
But now this is inconsistent again, because by denying his voice, he's even trying to deny that conversations took place at all.
After having admitted
that they were call logs.
Yes. Okay, but you also said that the question of who initiated a relationship is completely irrelevant when determining the guilt or otherwise of the giver and taker.
If you take bribe from me, you think it's a defense in court. I've heard some lawyers.
Yes.
You think it's a defense in court for me to say, sir, he's the one that called me first.
Yes. Then we'll know who is stinging
Oh, no, come off it. That is a stupid explanation in law. To say, after catching you.
Yes.
Or listen now.
Yes.
An armed robber is caught and he's taken to court and he gives an excuse. It was the bank that opened their door. And they just put money on the floor. I did not want to rob before.
Yes.
But when I was passing, I just saw the door of the bank open and I saw money on the floor. They were tempting me. So I had to go inside with a gun.
They should hold them for tempting.
Come off it.
So should it be our business now? Just looking at Nigerians, us watching, should it be our business who Farouk shared that money with?
Oh, we are talking about public officers. Why? Let me even assume that Femi gave bribe.
Yes.
Because this is not bribe. He gave. See, let me tell you
Why don't
comments.
You think it's a bribe?
The comments have been seen on the net.
Yes.
It shows the absolute ignorance of so many people regarding law. As a lawyer, you know what they call the actus reus and the mens rea.
Yes.
For you to be guilty of an offense, the two must go together.
Yes.
There must be the act,
intention.
and there must be the intention. What Femi did was the act, but he had no intention. Why? Because he recorded and told law enforcement agencies. Okay. So he had no intention to give bribe. Yes. Because there was an intention for him to expose the matter by recording it. Yes. So the actus reus was there on the part of Otedola, but the mens rea was not there. So that settles the matter. Okay. Any good lawyer will know that. Okay. So there's no giver and taker of bribe here. There was only a taker of bribe. There was no giver of bribe.
All right. All right. We'll take our final break now. When we come back, I want us to talk about this insistence of the police on finding the actual physical cash.
Good.
So join us again after the break. Welcome back, my concluding moments now with Festus Keyamo. Now, Festus, the search for the marked money. They say in law, expressum facit cesare tacitum, that which is expressed supersedes that which is implied. Is it unnecessary for us to find the actual physical cash that was given to Farouk now that we know that there is no contention on the amount or the collecting of it?
We're all missing the point regarding this money.
Okay.
The police, they don't need the money.
Why did you say they
to prove their case?
No,
hold
but
on,
they say
hold on,
sting
hold on. Can I
operations,
finish?
you need the money.
Can I finish?
Yes.
I'll come to that.
Yes.
The police, they don't need the money to prove their case. Otedola does not need the money to prove his case. Okay. It is Lawan that needs the money to exculpate himself. Let me explain what I've just said before I come to the other details.
Yes.
You said it was a sting operation.
Yes.
And that you took this money in order to prove.
To expose.
To expose.
Yes.
Now, they have caught you. It is now for you to bring the money to expose him. You cannot produce the money again.
No, but
so you need to prove you need to bring that money to show that you did not, it was not intended to be spent.
But I gave the money to somebody.
Now, this is where the problem comes.
Yes.
You say you gave it to Jagaba.
Yes.
Jagaba is chairman House Committee on Narcotics. And what did you do? You wrote that is the exposition you did, oh.
Yes.
You wrote a note, handwritten note to Jagaba. Please, this money, somebody gave me as bribe. That was after Tambuwa called you. And after the SSS had called Tambuwa to show him the tape. You know the SSS called Tambuwa and said, look, this is what is going on in your house. Tambuwa now went back and summoned Farouk. And after that, Farouk knew that, like we say in Warri, Yawa don't gas. Good. As Yawa gas, he said, man, how we go come out for this Yawa? That is how he started writing notes. He said he wrote notes. Now, when push comes to shove, Angela, for politicians, you know that you stand on your own when push comes to shove. Jagaba said, look, don't bring me into this picture. I am sorry, I beg. As we say, I beg, don't bring me into this picture. I did not collect any money. I did not see any note from you.
Yes.
Obviously, what happened? And I keep saying we're adults and we have some cerebral, give us some, some sense.
Yes.
It was obvious that Jagaba is a good friend. It was obvious that they planned that said, look, please cover me up. There's a problem here. Yes. But at the magnitude of this thing coming up, Jagaba said, look, his wife and everybody was advised Jagaba, don't go down with, everybody must answer his name here. At the last minute, Jagaba said, please, don't bring me into this.
So what option is now open to Jagaba now? Because his name has gone into that story forever.
Because the point is that there was no acknowledgement from him. I want to ask a very simple question.
Yes.
Imagine your all-important evidence, Farouk Lawan. You collected 620. This is what you want to use to nail Otedola. And yet you treated the evidence with so much levity. There was nobody who acknowledged receiving it from you. No witness on your side. There was nobody that said, I took it from you. Now you are running from pillar to post, telling the police that please give me time to raise the money. Please give me time to look for the money. And this money should have been what? Kept somewhere that is easy. In 2 minutes, you walk up to that place and bring it out and say, this is the money. That money has been shared. We are not idiots. Yes. That money has been shared. So it is him that needs the money more than the police. The police, they don't need the money. In law, we say, what has been admitted needs no further proof. Yeah. He has made a confessional statement already that I collected the money. Yes. Look,
Otedola has admitted that he gave the money.
Yes, and I want to ask you this. People keep saying this thing and it's irritating my ear.
What is this?
That why did you catch him at the point of this thing? Why did you catch him at the point of this thing?
When he was leaving Otedola's gate.
Look, do you know that even in the US, the FBI, they stay on the trail of drug lords for 5 years. Do you know that? Yes. They just get the evidence and keep. They get there because they want to catch what? Other people in that ring. If they see one of them, they will not catch him. Okay, so they want to know where the person is going, where the person is not going. That's a proper way to carry out a sting. This thing of saying you do and you rock up. In fact, let me tell you this, nobody would have believed the police or the SSS. If you had arrested Farouk Lawan a day to presenting that report on the floor,
why would no one
Farouk was just because he was at that point carrying the aspirations of Nigerians. Yes, the integrity of Nigerians. Yes. He would just say that they put a gun on his head that night to Otedola's house and began to film him to collect money. Yes. And Nigerians would say, hey, you want to kill this man.
He wanted to present the report the next day.
He wanted to present the report the next day. In fact, Nigerians will march and go and burn down SSS headquarters. And there would have been no opportunity for Farouk to fulfill that obligation on the floor of the House.
Okay, so the SSS needed him to do
to fulfill that obligation.
In the
to
House.
know that there was no sting. He was not carrying out any sting. They needed him to roast in his own stew. And he did that. Hook, line, and sinker. He roasted in his own stew at the end of the day. And I'm sure you know this, the truth of what I'm telling you about these sting operations that the FBI carry out.
Yes.
They don't just arrest people anyhow. They allow you that they will be covering the ring. They will be covering it because they want to use that opportunity. They want to use that opportunity to catch as many people as possible. Look how long it took them for Ibori. For 8 years, the money laundering was going forth, but they were just gathering evidence on Ibori. They were gathering it. At the end of the day, when they presented it, the man said, I'm guilty. There's no point. You don't argue when they bring your report at the end of the day, when they finish their sting on you. So I want somebody to tell me, in chapter what of chapter what did they say catch the person when he's collecting the money? Where, in what book? Which law says so? Which I don't know. What law says so? Sting operations go in different ways and different manner. Different manner. In fact, don't forget that there was more money to be collected. It was only balance, thank you. So who was he going to send to collect the balance? Were there other people that were going to come and collect the balance and all of it? All of this, you take them into consideration. At the end of the day, the SSS did extremely well in this situation. So? And you know, I don't praise law enforcement agencies. I've been at loggerheads with them. If you have not slept there, I've slept there a number of times. So I shouldn't like them.
Yes.
They have arrested me so many times. I've slept in SSS. So I shouldn't like them naturally. But I'm telling you, in this case, they did extremely well.
Okay. I can't have you here and not talk about Edo State. Should I be worried that a war looks imminent now in Edo State with these elections coming up there?
Well, it's just that, unfortunately, we are seeing a situation of desperation on the part of the ruling party in that state. Because if it were that, Adams Oshiomhole was just raising alarms, then his PA will not be dead.
Okay, there's evidence now to back
Somebody is dead.
Yes.
Somebody is dead. If it were so, I mean, if it were alarm, nobody would be dead. It would just be all kinds of alarm. The fact that my friend died in this process shows that any alarm that is raised by the corporate governor should be taken seriously. And you know my school of thought.
What?
I mean, my school of thought and my orientation is that the worst comrade, I'm not saying he's the worst, he's better than the best conservative. You know? And that's my view. The worst comrade in government, the worst progressive in government, still has progressive thoughts and ideas. He may execute them wrongly. He may execute them in a slipshod manner. But they are progressive thoughts. It is better than the people who only think of the ruling class, the conservatives. That is my view about the Edo State elections.
Okay, so where do you think the elections will head?
Well, I just pray that the people of Edo State can see that for once, power has been taken away from those people who thought they were godfathers in that state. And they should maintain that status quo. It is time for power to continue to remain in the hands of the comrade governor and the progressives in that state. I make no bones about it because of my orientation, because of civil society and labor relationship. If we don't encourage one of our own who is in government now, then we don't have any right tomorrow to say progressive and radicals should go into government. When, in the first place, one of them got into government and they will ask you, what did you do to support him when he was there? Many of us have tried in the past. You know that? I'm the only one that has not contested for the radicals. Come to think of it. For anything. I don't belong to any political party.
Would you be contesting anytime?
Angela, come on.
Okay, just before you go, one last question. So without tapes, audio or video, what options are open to Farouk Lawan now to prove his case that he carried out a sting on Femi Otede?
He has nothing to prove, any sting. He stung himself. This sting is the sting on himself. That is all. Because you see, the purpose of the tape to record him taking the money is to prove that he took the money. That has been established. So I don't need any videotape again. The purpose of the audio tape is to show that conversations were going on regarding the money. That has been established by Farouk's own confessional statement that there were call logs of talk they were talking. They were not talking about politics or anything. They were talking about this this transaction.
Yes.
So I don't need to see any video or audio on channels television again.
Yes.
Or on AIT or anywhere to know that this case is cut and dry.
Okay.
It's as simple. If I am a prosecutor, it's very simple. I will bring his confessional statement that I collected the money. I will bring Femi's own statement that he collected the money for the purpose of removing his name.
Yes.
I will now bring the tape. I will summon one of the TV houses to come and tender the tape in court when he stood up in the house.
Yes.
And even the house proceedings.
Yes.
You know, the house.
On the day.
On the day, I
public
certify them,
document.
I tender it.
Public documents.
They are public documents. I tender the house proceedings where he stood up a few hours and moved the motion to remove his name. My case is over. I said, my lord, the case is over. The defense should open.
Thank you very much, Keyamo, Festus Keyamo, barrister and solicitor, for coming on 60 Minutes today. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Program. All right, so that's it for this week. Don't forget, you can like 60 Minutes with Angela on Facebook, or you can follow me on Twitter. That's Angela at 60 Minutes. I've still got my eye on this story. You never know who I'll be spending 60 Minutes with. I'm Angela Jetumobi, and I thank you for the pleasure of your company.